Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will. I'm joined by my co-host over here, the Greeze. Say hello, Greeze.
Hey, everybody.
So, if you saw the thumb, Greeze had a mancation. Podcaskers! Why did you do that?
That's what Dan says.
I know, but why? I know. First of all, Sean says that.
Well, no, Dan gets pissed.
But why? No. But why did you do that? I was setting up the show.
You were.
You've been good for a long time.
I know.
And you're trying to make me hate you. Like, why would you do that?
It's just,
we're gonna start over. And I don't want you to be an idiot.
we're gonna run it back
Yes,
the whole way.
No, I'm not gonna play the intro again, but I'm gonna start again, and you're gonna be normal and not just yell out things for the heck of it. And Sean does that. It's because they're doing a segment called Poor Guesses.
Right.
He doesn't just scream it out for the heck of it.
We should do a thing called
No. We're gonna start the show over because we're live, and I was excited about it. But
well, if we're doing
you've already ruined it.
If we're doing that, I'm freaking doing Fireball. So
I was in a good mood, and now I'm not. I'm actually not. Okay. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my co-host here, the Greeze. Say hello, Greeze.
hey, babe.
So if you saw the thumbnail that we created this week, it said Unsupervised Weekend in Lynchburg, and it had Greeze looking lovingly at the statue of Jack Daniels with a podcast hat on it. And you got to go on a man getaway weekend a couple weeks back with our buddy Dustin and Michael Williams. You went to an AirBNB in Lynchburg. You went to Jack Daniels and Uncle Nearest, but I don't want to hear your adventures that you had with those guys and how you convinced your wife it was okay for you to go off on a man vacation 3.5 weeks before whiskey weekend.
Right.
Like, how do you, I don't feel like you get away with much in your life, but somehow you got away with that one. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. She is going on a ladies' weekend like next week.
Right. You're going on whiskey weekend, which is not just the weekend for us. It's like almost the whole week.
Right. Well, when do we start calling it Whiskey Week?
Well, no, I mean, for us, it's actually whiskey quarter because it's a lot of work and effort going into it. I mean, for us, it's like we go up there early. We got to set up. We got to do stuff. So
I feel like we walk into a whiskey weekend like this. We've just been putting in our time. Honestly, at whiskey weekend, like it is stressful, but it's the least stressful.
I did a bad thing there.
Oh,
I diverted you because
you did.
You don't listen to me anymore as it is, and I asked a question, and you're like, I don't care.
I'm going to talk about my weekend. How did I get the pass? How did I get the hall pass with Dustin?
Yeah, like how'd you get to go?
Well, Michael Williams' wife Sarah.
Yeah, sweet lady.
She and Lauren are friends,
right? So that like Lauren and Samantha are friends. If I were to really try to pull off like that isn't the answer. I don't know what the answer is.
Honestly, what it was that she really likes Dustin Pete.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And
so she was like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, have fun. So we did. I got an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Whole kerfluffle. Is that why you say it? Kerfluffle?
It was close. I'll let it slide.
I almost said Kirkfluffle.
I know that you kind of did.
I kind of did, and it was like a little weird ball. Run it back. No, so like long story short, we have some rewards points because I don't know if you know this or not. We've spent some money on whiskey weekend.
Yeah, we put everything. We get points on a credit card,
right?
When we're booking everything and paying for everything responsibly. But yeah, so we had a bunch of points.
And we had like $1,000 in points on there, something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm cashing this out.
Yeah,
I'm doing $400 from Airbnb on there, and I'm gonna make this real cheap. Well, long story short, I ended up applying that to the wrong account and could never circle back.
Yeah,
we lost it. So
yeah, Greeze wasted money of ours.
Right.
Before you go on, we are getting your internet because you weren't set up. It's the same thing that happened.
Is it?
It's still on Wi-Fi.
Well, are people complaining?
Yes.
Copy.
I'm getting direct text messages. Hey, everyone.
Okay, we're back. We were on Wi-Fi. We had to trick it.
One of these days I'll get here and things will be ready.
Right.
Tonight was not one of those nights. So hopefully it's better. And we'll
I set up a new camera and
right, but you didn't have like the basics ready to go.
Right, like
which
a
monitor,
was like internet,
yeah,
glasses.
Yeah.
Well, I had glasses.
So you wasted our credit card points because they disappeared and
they just went away. And let me go ahead and tell you something. Airbnb, they suck at the gift card thing. They suck at it. It's 2022. They're so bad.
I'm not gonna lie. They may be bad.
Well, they were like, I don't have a record of it. Like, how do you not? You cashed them in.
They may be bad at it, but I'm willing to wager a good amount of money that was a two-way street.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I could have done.
So we lost like $400 or $500.
Right. But anyway, so we got and I lost the Airbnb that was closer to downtown. Although the second Airbnb, it was relatively close.
Yeah. So you got an Airbnb actually in Lynchburg, and you sent me the thing. And after you kind of described it to me, I went to look back and see if it was if there was any reviews that maybe inferred some things about it, but everything was super positive.
Yeah. And honestly, I liked the place.
Yeah, but
I'd do it again, but there's a few things
interesting neighbors, right?
We have to talk about a couple of things. One, literally 50 to 75 feet away from an active jail. Like the Lynchburg jail.
County is right behind you.
I mean, like when I say I can throw a baseball, and I'm not like
you probably shouldn't.
I used to be more of an athlete.
It is a jail.
Now I haven't really done athletic things in a while.
Yeah,
outside of playing pool.
Yeah,
but I could have thrown a baseball to a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? Like
you had a nice game of catch. Back and forth.
Yeah, because it wasn't like they had it was just the spirals.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a county jail.
That was it.
Some like Supermax or something.
No, I could have flown a drone over there too and said, "Hey."
Yeah, I think pretty easy. You're not
break
supposed to do that though.
Oh, 100%. I know that for a fact. So nowhere on the reviews did it say you're pretty damn close to a jail.
Yeah, it legit. I went and looked through the reviews, and everyone's like, wonderful. So close to everything you can walk. It didn't say that one of those everythings you could walk to is to visit family.
Right.
You know.
So I'll be honest with you. When we first get there, we start. Oh, you know what? I need to get in the mood. We were drinking this Starlight Oak and Thieves Pit.
I want to have some of that actually.
And oh god,
because that one's technically mine.
No. Yes.
And why are you shooting whiskey tonight?
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, there was Fireball still left in there. I shot the rest of it. I did shoot that. Yeah, but I mean that might as well be a docile cat. Let me go ahead and tell you something about a docile cat.
Something you are not.
There was a cat when we arrived. There was a cat stalking us, literally about to pounce on us like a mouse.
Yeah,
and literally, Dustin peed like
your hair is a bit mousy.
Called it out. Well, no, he was just like, "What do you think that cat's gonna do?" Like, he was like concerned about it. I was like, "I'll be honest with you, I kind of am too." We started off the evening. We poured this Starlight bourbon that our buddies Bob and James and Daniel picked. Literally the night Whiskey Weekend started. Those boys came in hot to Whiskey Weekend.
Yeah. We're actually going to be picking a Starlight pick the day before Whiskey Weekend starts, which is, as we were on a phone call today, I was like, man, that's very important.
Right.
that it's the day before, because the condition they showed up in would be no condition to host a weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're shutting down the farm for us, and I think they're prepared to pour a plenty. You ever eaten at that Beacon restaurant?
I don't know if I've been to
Spartanburg.
I don't think
Anyway,
so.
it's like chili cheese.
No, I know what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever been there though. I know what you're talking about.
You haven't missed much, except you probably have prolonged your life a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good, but it's like varsity good. It's like you're going to die.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That does not taste like it's 4 years old.
Oh my gosh. No, and it doesn't look like it. Like if you hold it up.
I know, we've done it.
Okay.
People have seen it.
Anyway, it's very amber.
So there's a cat.
Yeah, whatever. And then we go in, we start hitting this stuff. We have a cigar. We enjoy ourselves. Fast forward.
Yeah.
We end up calling an audible and saying Michael was coming the next day.
Yeah, he was going to arrive on Friday.
He was going to bring us biscuits and all this other stuff, which funny thing is we would have passed it anyway. However, we rallied Michael, and he shows up about 9:00 that night, and then we just went hard.
Yeah. And I mean, Michael is a game changer, is what I like to say. Like when he decides to show up, it's game time. Like you can't just.
You have to understand, he shows up with 6 whiskeys.
Right. He's not going to saunter in casually and be like, "Hey, y'all, let's go to sleep."
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
He's ready to throw down.
He's literally had a crap week at work. That's why Sarah was like, "You better get on
it.
Get on down there.
Get on it.
And you know what? You better come back in a dadgum better mood."
Yeah.
That's what she said.
He was probably in a more drowsy mood, but
he was.
Yeah.
So he comes up, and literally it's basically, it happens every time. When someone shows up late to the party after you've been drinking for about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
They bring
and I know how Dustin P drinks, so.
Oh yeah, we went for it.
Right, yeah.
Like, dude,
after you saw the cat, you're like, there's no way we're not drinking now.
Well, and two, Dustin had to leave Saturday evening. So this is his only night. So he's like, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Michael shows up with freaking 6 new whiskeys that we haven't tried. Freaking Parker's double char.
Yeah. Is it the rye? Heavy char.
Heavy char.
Uh-huh.
I don't. Details are fuzzy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
There were 3 other great ones.
right. And then there was like, oh God, I literally can't remember what he brought. There was some MGP thing. Oh, it was a Nulu pick that he had just passed.
Okay.
And it was fabulous.
Was it like,
picked it up in like Shelbyville?
Was it finished in something, or was it just like a bourbon? Just a straight.
I think
bourbon?
It was a straight bourbon.
I like that. I like, because I'm wary of the finish of like the crazy finishes.
100%. Like you can get. Here's the deal. I don't mind finished stuff. Especially Nulu does a lot of them. Starlight does a lot of them.
Right.
Like it's I mean.
People do it. It's a thing.
I think it's shift. I do think it's shifting from we're trying to hide young whiskey because Starlight's got good.
Yeah,
bourbon.
no. I think
Nulu's
there's still a lot
bourbon.
of people that are doing that, but then at the same time, it is also people saying now it's not just like let's mask it. Now it's like let's do something that doesn't taste like bourbon at all.
Yeah. That's a weird situation.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of people do it well. Like I've gotten some peach stuff that tastes good. Some toasted stuff. Well, I mean, I guess that's not finished. Is toasted considered finished? I feel like I would call that finished.
Well, it depends if the barrel they're using it in is toasted. Like if it's only one single barrel, like if it's a toasted char instead of
like a real char.
Well, I feel like it has to be charred, and I don't know if you can do toasted and charred, but there's like. I think a light char.
Well, in order for it to be a bourbon, it's got to be in a new charred.
I know, but I'm saying I think a toasted could technically be a char.
It could just be like ultra light.
If it's light, and it has also something to do with the way they like bake it. They dry it out,
pre-120,
bake it, and then they could still char the barrel. But the wood is also like once you get past the char, it has a toast level to it. But I do feel like most are probably a second barrel.
Right.
But Maker's 46 has a toasted stave in it.
Right.
So, but technically I think that would be, they don't say finished, like it's still a straight bourbon.
Right.
But I think it could also fall under a finished category.
I feel like we're getting to the point also too that like some of these distilleries are kind of acting like a Subway restaurant. Like You want it toasted?
Yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just feel like you don't want it toasted.
Yeah.
And you say no, and then they look at you weird. Like, why would you not?
Why would you not? Yeah, but see, I don't like my bread being toasted at fast food places like that.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, I'll have it the normal way.
Right. I feel like, but you acted like that changes the quality of some sort.
Oh, it does.
No, but like that's the least offensive thing a fast food restaurant could do.
I'm just saying I don't like that. I don't like a toasted bagel. I don't like a toasted sub bread. No. I want bread in its natural state as God intended.
So dough.
No, cooked. It's baked.
Okay, so you want to toast the dough.
No, I want it baked. I want to bake the dough. I don't want to toast the bread.
Well, it's a bit of tomato.
I mean, no.
Baked and toasted?
Mm-mm.
What's it? Okay. Well.
This is stupid.
Yeah, this is dumb.
Oh, man.
We're really killing it tonight.
Yeah.
So fast forward. There's literally, right before Michael Williams gets there, it's dark. And this guy pulls up to this house next to us.
Uh-huh.
And obviously we are staring them down because are you breaking someone out of the jail?
Right.
Like, who are you?
Yeah, like your backyard is the escape route.
Well, the weird thing is he goes into this house, comes out 30 seconds later, cranks it, and starts going up in between the 2 yards, which does have a weird path on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay, there's a dog following him, and that dog beeline, once he sees us, beelines for us. Sounds terrifying. I hop up and turn around because I'm thinking I'm going to have to kick this dog in the face.
Yeah.
It was very similar to the shark situation.
Yeah, except for you just peed your bathing suit with the shark.
Yeah, I didn't pee this time.
Also,
because I'm on land.
Also, you did not punch any shark.
No, but I was ready to. And I don't know if I'd have been successful, but I was ready to.
Oh my gosh, I wish that story ended with you
punching a shark,
losing your hand to the shark. But then I'm like, I don't want to say that because I don't want you to lose your hand. But my gosh, if you had no hand because you're like, I punched the shark, and what did it do? It bit my hand.
Well, the funny thing is you came into my office the other day and you were like, why did you circle loss of hand on the insurance thing?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm thinking about adding it.
Yeah.
$5 a month. I'm thinking about just throwing it in there.
You get 2,500 bones if I lose my hand.
About how can I make this super profitable?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Like,
do you ever read that menu of things when you're and like, man, it's like, I could be in rough shape, but come out okay financially.
You would think that, but let's just say you lose 4 limbs and you get $250,000.
Yeah,
that's not gonna age well, especially the way the dollar's looking right now.
That's fair. Yeah. Also, because then you're not continuing your employment at that at that rate as well.
Yeah, so that's a different kind of insurance you need for that.
so the dog
tries to attack us, and so we're just like, we both look at each other like, where are we? Because number one, that truck just driving up.
So fun.
We don't even know where he's going.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
Where's he going? We don't even know where he's going.
We don't even know where he's going. Fast forward the next night, me and Michael Williams are sitting back there, and we're like, we're hungry.
Yeah.
And there's like nowhere
naturally
in Lynchburg to get food, really.
It's a cute little town, but it's kind of a dump when it comes to like modern amenities like late night Taco Bell.
Right. So there's a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, open late.
Well, it wasn't really late.
Oh, okay.
We weren't dealing with that. It was just there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And so we thought about getting it delivered. And we were like, have we even looked up where this thing is? I'm like, oh yeah, it's out like down that way or whatever. So we look it up and literally, wait a second. It's behind the jail. So we look right there, literally 50 yards away. The back door is open. We can see them dadgum with a huge walk, just like whatever. And I was like, bro, we were going to pay. We were so lazy. We were going to pay $15 to $25 for somebody to have an Uber Eats or whatever come in and bring. It
was a $25 delivery. No.
All right.
Yeah, we're
back.
here. Greeze
We're
keeps banging on the thing. We are having the worst technical issues tonight.
Right.
It's like a bourbon junkie show or something.
Right.
They do that often.
It's not that bad.
Well, he was like, Dan's like yelling before Matt Madness's projector was broken. He had like a headphone hanging from the ceiling. And I was like,
it was probably like, Sean, why'd you change the white balance on the camera?
Like
There's no reason to. This is a freaking dark hut.
Right, so you were going to pay $25, although I don't think you've ever used Uber Eats because it doesn't cost that much.
But I mean, it was enough. It was enough to make us cackle and laugh.
Right.
Anyway, all right. So let's get to the whiskey. So we wake up at like 9 o'clock because we want to be at nearest. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. We stopped by Hardee's. That was on my Instagram stories. And we walk in there, and that thing looks like a Chick-fil-A. I call Owen, and I'm like, where are we? This looks like, oh, yeah, that must be one of our new stores.
Oh, it's like a flagship.
A flagship pilot store or whatever. I don't know. It's gorgeous. It's fabulous. It looks like a Chick-fil-A inside. Anyway, we get the appropriate accompaniments of the day, and then we head to Uncle Nearest.
Okay.
The only thing I know about Uncle Nearest is obviously the whiskey. I haven't had a couple of their offerings. I think I'd only had
we got one right there, the premium.
Yeah.
We did a Grease Goes to the Store, I think, video with that.
Yes. So wait, is this no, hang on a second. This one's not the blend.
So I have a question. Did they explain why they call it premium whiskey instead of straight whiskey? Or
details are fuzzy, dude. We were up. I was
you
up.
went to the tour.
I did, but I was still kind of good to go.
Well, I know.
Michael and I were up until 3:30. Probably weren't asleep until 4. Up at 9. Been drinking. Okay. So anyway, that's just what happened.
I think someone needs to ban Jason Busey.
Why is he banned?
I don't like that. He was not nice to you.
Is the budget Dan Shook?
Yeah. He said at least he's original or something.
Speaking, like, I've got a belt to show otherwise.
Dustin said they did not explain it. So that's something I would have asked on the tour.
Oh, okay. Dustin's. I'm glad Dustin's here. So yeah, you would have asked that. That would have been great.
Yeah.
But I had no whatever. So we come in hot. We're about a minute late. The tour has already started. We go in there, we get our tickets, and we hop into the tour. There was a few things that was being told. And then we go into
we were on a tour.
Well,
there were a few things that were being told, as happens on tours. I didn't pay attention because I don't like that stuff. Dustin said that the focus of the tour was on the history of Nearest Green.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, because you said there were some things that were sad.
No. There was like a brief intro that we missed, and then we go over to the snack area, and it was basically that portion of the tour.
Yeah,
was to set up the fact that we go into a speakeasy type sort of environment.
Yeah,
because like they knocked on the concession area, and then we end up going in the side door, and there's this hidden door, and you walk in. And it is one of the most.
It was like a snack bar facade, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Facade.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm assuming at some point it will be operational.
Oh,
I would assume.
Used to say,
because I'm gonna be honest with you. We were kind of upset that we couldn't get some of those things.
Okay.
We were like, I need a moon pie right now.
Yeah.
So we go in there, and you walk in, and there is this stained glass that you walk in and you like, are we going into a church?
Yeah.
But then there's also like this there's this nice bar top. It kind of looks like a pharmacy soda fountain kind of sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then the back of the room kind of looks like a cafe ish, with some just seating, table seating and stuff like that. So we all go sit at the bar.
Yeah.
The woman that was giving us a history lesson on this stuff was incredible.
Oh,
like I almost wanted to go and hug her. She was incredible. Like she was legit.
Yeah. People don't like
just public display.
No, it's not even public display. They don't like being strangers forcing affection on them.
Well, she probably would have.
I don't No.
I wouldn't have forced it. I would have just been like,
If you
can I hug you?
Reeking of booze from the night before, haven't been paying attention to the ladies' tour, except for maybe a few.
Well, no, it was
nuggets here and
handed
there.
off.
You and Michael giggling like schoolgirls in the back of the tour group, while Dustin's like kicking you, trying to listen. And then,
we were pretty
then you're
quiet.
gonna go hug the lady. Yeah, you're getting a citation.
We were pretty quiet until we got into the tasting,
Uh-huh.
and we let them know who we were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
that's
number one, it's a beautiful thing. Everything down in that speakeasy like has meaning, like all the way to the nails in the floor. It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's kind of just what people that, you know, have well thought out ideas. That's just kind of the stuff that they come out with. And Fawn is like,
and she was there. Fawn Weaver was there.
She was there. She signed some bottles for us. But before we get there, there is a cinematic version of the Nearest Green story that is just lights out, like emotional, inspirational. You just walk away from that. Like a lot of people just didn't even say anything after it.
Yeah.
Like it was literally just like, here's so-and-so. Tristan's going to take you the rest of the way. I hope you have a great tour. And literally it was just like kind of quiet. Like it was just like, it was pretty impactful. And so then we go into one of the barrel aging rick houses that are essentially, it looks like chicken houses, like on a farm.
Okay.
But they're renovated on the inside.
Yeah.
Concrete. They've got the stuff in there. And we were walking through there and we couldn't really tell, you know, like I'm looking at the markings on barrels to kind of see what kind of system they have in place, like at Jack, it's like K, my A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. That's going to be November. You know what I mean? Like the K, and then they've got the barrel number, the barrel year, and like whatever. And so I was just looking at the barrels and stuff like that. And it was weird. It was like Kentucky 2, Kentucky 1, Kentucky 8, like I was like, at first we thought that, oh, okay. Well, we saw a bunch of Kentucky ones.
You thought it was like the DSP.
I thought,
from Bernheim.
I thought it was Bernheim. Exactly right. But oh, okay. So this stuff is sourced from Bernheim. They're aging it up here, blah, 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 blah. And that it definitely was not the case because the numbering system, and I wish I would have asked that. I did not ask that. That's one question that I really wanted to do. That was actually my only question that I had.
Well, and I mean, if they're getting it all from the same source, it could be like mash bills or something, but I almost wonder if they rebarrel.
I would assume these barrels looked very new.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they were saying that they were aging up a lot of like 12-year product.
Yeah.
Because in the, I don't have it down here, but our bottle that we bought, that's, it's like $199. I can't remember. Golly, what is it? It's a premium blend.
Yeah.
Whiskey. And that one's just more expensive, but there's variations in ages in that. And so, there's a lot of that stuff coming apparently. I don't know if those barrels that we went past held that juice, but it could have, it could have, and cool. They rebarreled them. I don't know. So we get through that and we go into the tasting portion or whatever. And, I mean, honestly, all three.
It was the Batch 8 Masters blend.
The Batch 8 Masters blend. Yes. Thank you, Dustin. The Batch 8 Masters blend was just next level. It tasted like, to me, it tasted like a Four Roses single barrel proof.
Did it have any? I mean, obviously it's Kentucky whiskey, or a lot of what you saw was Kentucky.
Right.
So it's not like they're sourcing it from Tullahoma.
Right.
Was it earthy? Was it sweet? Like, what was kind of the profile that you got off of it?
Yeah, it was floral. No, it was floral on the nose.
Okay.
And then it was sweet on the palate. And
nice.
I was like, we've drank a lot of Four Roses.
So it really reminded you of Four Roses. Interesting.
Very much so.
Interesting.
I was like, this is, but it was a blend, but of a lot of different, whiskeys in there. So that was a very enjoyable and eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
The bummer is that they had batch 10s in the gift shop like crazy. Batch 8, the one that we tried, and I was like, I want batch 8.
Yeah.
I need batch 8. And they ended up finding a couple for us.
Nice.
They ended up finding 3. So Michael Williams got 1 and I snagged 2. 1 is going to Whiskey Weekend. 1 is signed by Fawn for you and I.
Cool. Very cool.
Cool.
You got to meet her. That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is we go in there and she's not due to be there for another hour and a half when we're done with our tour. So we go and buy, I bought a bunch of stuff and then we go to the car, chilling for a little bit. Then we go back in about, 15 minutes before. And we thought Fawn would be on time. She was not. She was about 10, 15 minutes late. We were like, either she's going to be fashionably late or she's going to be like so on top of it, she's there a minute early. So, but she's fashionable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's super fashionable.
Yeah.
Comes up in there, dominating. It was awesome. She was super, and she's just impressive.
Yeah.
Like her
presence.
Her demeanor. Yeah. She walks into a room and she owns it.
Right.
And everybody, if you didn't know her and you saw her walk into the room, you'd be like, who is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it was really awesome because we had been connecting on Instagram for a while. We were going to have her on drinking with or whatever. Right. That's still on the table. She's just a freaking crazy busy woman. But she comes up and I was like, hey, it's Greeze from the podcast. And she was like, can I give you a hug?
And you're like, I've been waiting forever for this.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's great. Because see, I didn't force anything at that point. You know what I mean? She wanted a hug from me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's better that way. Right. Yeah. So we hugged it out and then we were live on her, on her Instagram or something like that. And there was a video that came out later, and it literally she addressed the camera and she was like, "If anybody's coming here today and we're out of bottles, it's because of the podcast."
Nice.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that." And so that was our time at Uncle Nearest. The biggest thing we walked away from Uncle Nearest saying was, "We wish Michael and Dustin and myself. We wish our wives were with us." Because they would have eaten that alive. Yeah. Like it's such a good, if you want, if you've got, it's very female focused, right? The part of the tour, like it's about Uncle Nearest, but then there's obviously, Fawn and the history and the story and a lot of the workers there and stuff like that are women and in the family. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just this empowerment kind of sort of, vision, and it's built perfectly for women. Yeah, men are going to enjoy the heck out of it, but if you're a husband and you're trying to get your wife to understand why on God's green earth you give a rip about whiskey, the story, the community, any of that, take them there. This is the number one tour that you need to do. Period. Because while it's not gorgeous, like there's not like lushness. It's not
because it's
not
new.
Historic buildings.
It is.
Oh no, it is gorgeous.
I know. Yeah. You are always the great salesman. Grease goes, it's not gorgeous. Yeah. Well, it is not fun.
It's not Woodford. It's not Makers.
Sure. It's not as pristine.
It's not
new.
A huge factory with billowing like Buffalo Trace.
Their history is in the story, not in the whiskey itself, because it is a newer brand. Mm-hmm. So they're telling a different history. It's not the history of the grounds themselves because it is a newer facility. They've just built it up. So I understood what you were saying. It was just, you always have a way with words, my friend.
Well, whenever you go to Heaven Hill, like there's the central gift shop. It's kind of where you do everything. And then around the perimeter, you start seeing all of these rick houses. If you take those rick houses and just make them one floor, essentially, that's kind of the look and feel of Uncle Nearest. You know what I mean? Like it has a very similar vibe to that.
Yeah. And prior to the new renovation at Heaven Hill wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing property.
Right. Yeah. No, I actually haven't been there since they renovated, which is unfortunate.
Yes, you have. No. Not to the second phase.
Not the second
phase. Phase one was a lot better than it used to be.
Yes. In the gift shop. Yeah. That was
in the library where we.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you know what I'm talking
The second phase, though, I need that in my life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're just going,
We haven't been to that yet, though.
but I hear you could also mess up that.
You can break it really
You can break
easy.
that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is typical.
Andy Payne wants to know if Victoria Butler was there that day. She's the master blender.
Yes.
She's the great-great-granddaughter.
She
of
was
Mira's
not.
friend.
She was not. We're still working out dates, but she's coming on the show.
Right.
And
which is another layer of the female crew that is running the show
and
there.
she's killing it.
Right. Yeah, because
Her
you're the
blends
master
are
blend
stupid.
you're a big fan of. So that's cool.
Huge fan. And all I've heard, Fawn was super excited that we were having her on. She was like, "Oh my gosh, she's a character."
Nice.
And I was like, "That sounds great."
Yeah.
It sounds like you were Fawn and I'm Victoria.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
I'm a little bit easier to get on things, like to get on shows.
Oh.
You're harder to get on shows.
Oh, that's fair.
And I'm the character, but you're kind of the star.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Or you're the guy that holds the glue.
That's
the nails and the glue and the.
I'm the nail in the coffin, as they say. So then y'all went to Jack. Anything new or novel to add to Jack? Because we've talked about us going to Jack before, so I don't think we need to really delve.
We have. I found it very interesting because this was the first time that we did the tour that
post-pandemic,
but like the tour that's not like a part of a pick or like we were there as a special guest or something like that.
Yeah, because I've been before to just by myself and
right
on the tour, so I've done that before.
So we did the Angels tour, which is it's the same exact tour except the pours at the end. We got to taste the Sinatra. We got to taste the Saloon.
Yeah.
Which is just a higher proof number 8.
Yeah.
It's number 7, batch 8. And we ended up doing the single barrel. We did a rye, and then we did a barrel proof rye. And the barrel proof rye was free. Tennessee. It was a Tennessee Tasters. It wasn't a limited edition, but same freaking.
Did they have any new Tennessee Tasters that you hadn't seen in the gift shop?
No. In fact, they only had the Jamaican allspice.
I should have told you to get me.
Well, no, and I think they had a little bit of the twin blend as well. Okay. So they had those two. Everything else was out and gone. They had one gift shop only release, but it's essential, and it was the same price as the Saloon. It's exactly the same as it's the exact same proof.
Yeah,
it's the exact same. Like I was like,
they always have
package.
those. Yeah, they always have those there.
Yeah. Not like the one. So the last time we went, there was this. It was the Gentleman's Jack limited edition on here, which was like a higher proof or something.
I think it's like 2 more or something.
2 more?
Yeah, the proof is not like remarkably different, but it was interesting.
Well, number 1, it's a liter, and it's 86 proof.
Okay, so it's 86 instead of 80 because I think Gentleman Jack's normally 80.
Yeah, but it's a liter.
There you go.
You can get drunk for less. No, so there's a couple of things that I appreciated about the regular tour that we hadn't experienced before. And one was at the tasting room at the end. I'd never been in there.
Right.
And I was like, it's
great.
Yeah, this is awesome. The other thing that I appreciated about the tour is that you're with a lot of other people that don't know Jack.
But they'll drink it.
Yeah. But they'll drink it.
Yeah.
And that was just a cool dynamic. Like you're hearing people that are not into whiskey much or on a vacation, and they're asking these questions. And then, I talked to a couple of people and just chit chatted a little bit, and it was interesting. It was cool. It was because we were so consumed in the whiskey world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you forget also that Jack Daniel's is one of the biggest brands in the world. So people, if they're in Nashville, may not even be whiskey drinkers at all. 100%. But they're like, I got to go see this.
Yeah.
And, they may come from a place where there's not a ton of distilleries in general. We're a little spoiled and get a little numb to the fact of the novelness of going to a distillery.
Yeah.
And seeing it.
Well, this is another thing that I really loved. Doing a tasting with so many different people that you don't know is incredible, because that aren't necessarily whiskey drinkers. Like we do it at Whiskey Weekend.
Sure.
But dude, these people, by the way, this is, what do we drink? The Starlight.
Yeah,
Oh God. So
I was going to do something else, but I keep doing it.
There was a woman behind me, young woman with her husband, and she ended up, finishing off the whiskey, but she was like, oh Lord. Like she was just like, she was freaking out. And she ended up doing it all. And I like turned back around. I was like high-fiving her and be like, I'm so proud of you right now. Like, all this other stuff. So it was like, there was a lot of like, how do you, and Uncle Nearest too, because we did the same thing. People were like, they were like, what are you guys getting off of this? And I was like, like a toasted almond or whatever. And like, people were just like, and Dustin Peed was throwing out stuff too. And Michael Williams, and like everybody there was like, what kind of tech, y'all are professionals, and they're like, and we're not necessarily in the whiskey world.
Sure.
In our world, me saying a toasted almond, not that complex.
Sure.
Like we all pick up on it, but it was very interesting to kind of see that play out with people that aren't necessarily big whiskey drinkers.
Melissa wanted to know, she said this is like 3 hours from Louisville, right? Talking about Uncle Nearest. And I think it's probably closer to 4.
Yeah, no,
because it's like 3 to here.
It's 4.5
and then
from
like
Nashville.
Another hour.
I mean, sorry, it's 4.5 from Louisville, because you got 3 hours to Nashville and it's an hour and 15 from Franklin. You got a Nearest? Yeah.
Is it?
For me, it took an hour. Huh. Oh, no, that was to Jack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's probably
right at 4 hours.
Yeah, it's probably, because it took us about 20 minutes to get over there.
Yeah.
And
speaking of, Jason Newman, thanks for the super chat, and says, wishing Melissa a quick recovery.
Amen.
So Melissa, who makes our merch, like these hats, and does, our Glen Cairns, runs our store for us, was in an accident this week. Her car not okay, she mostly okay, but does have a hand injury, fracture. So we are praying for her, and everyone keep her on your mind that the recovery will be
she's
quick.
Not able to do a lot of so she had a big order from us for Whiskey Weekend, and so that's really hindering her ability to do that. And so we're probably gonna have to do less quantity at Whiskey Weekend.
Yeah, but what
people order them,
we'll do pre-orders, and she's very good about getting it out once we get there.
Yeah.
So
she's got a daggum cast.
I know. So
she can't whittle the wood and do some good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that was an old joke. Nobody's gonna get that. That was an old joke from like literally when I was in high school, because like there was like a carving thing happening.
It was an old joke that only your high school would get.
Well, oh no. I would assume that other people at my high school have already forgotten that because it's stupid.
Yeah.
I just like how it rhymes.
Yeah.
But she can't sew right now. So old one.
Yeah. So like Melissa did say at Whiskey Weekend, yes, pre-orders, and some stuff is already done, and all the Glens will be there. So if you did pre-order a Glencairn, or if you're still considering doing that, that is, I would assume, less technical with her hand.
Yeah, if you're coming to Whiskey Weekend and you order something, you could just literally say you're picking it up, and that basically says that that's a Whiskey Weekend order. So you could do that. That's at thepodcast.com/store.
And that it does help not just us, but it helps Melissa as well. So
absolutely
check that out. But also be gracious if there is a little bit of a delay.
Melissa actually ordered something today that is basically, I'm sorry, this is going to take a little bit longer. Yeah. But it's a pretty freaking cool.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be a Whiskey Weekend exclusive, but we're not going to tell what that is now.
No, why would we do that?
I wouldn't. So Jack Daniels is great. You had a great weekend. That's good. I mean,
I already told you what the big thing that happened that night with me and Michael is we tried to whatever. But we were also the Chinese food situation.
I know you should never be like, I already told you the big thing with me and Michael that we tried to, but whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh God, I forgot.
Yeah, no, I know where you're going, but I think we should.
No, there's another thing.
I know what it is.
The clearing the house.
Yes,
because we thought we were.
Tell it quickly so we can go to the 15. Because Darren, I know Dara is watching, and I do want to talk about during the 15 my loss on Friday night.
I do want to talk about that.
Yeah. So tell this story, and then we'll go to the 15. And during the 15, we will talk about Matt Madness and where things stand right now.
Yeah. It's pretty daggum good update that we need to give y'all. But so there was this curtain on the front door that I very specifically was like, I'm going to close because I felt like no one on the streets of Lynchburg need to see what's going on in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So I do that. Well, we get back to the Airbnb and the back door is unlocked, which I'm pretty sure I locked it. Details are fuzzy. And then literally we go through the whole day, a whole night, and then I'm going to bed. And that curtain is cinched up again with a wrap around it. So I go out to Michael. I'm like, hey, man, did you put that curtain back on the front door? He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, come here. I was like, this thing was wrapped around and now it's loose or whatever. Or no, sorry, no, it was loose and now it's wrapped around.
Yeah, like actually the other way you could be like, okay, it fell apart, we didn't do it right, but the fact that it was put together.
It was put together, absolutely. Okay. And I mean, we're in Lynchburg. There's a potential ghost.
There's a jail behind you.
There's a jail. The door was unlocked. There's a ghost situation. We passed so many freaking like, let's take you on a ghost tour, and we're like, no, you know what I mean? Like, and so it wasn't hard to clear the home quickly. We checked every closet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not going to go to bed with freaking potential ghosts or jailmen in the house. So the one thing,
bees, jailmen.
Yeah. The one thing that I do know that probably was like Michael was just like, what are we doing? I was in his room because we finished in there. Okay.
We're done in there. That didn't take too long.
We happened to be in there because the laundry room's in there, and that was the last place we checked. And I said, is there an attic in this place? And he was like, no, absolutely not. There's definitely not an attic in this place. This place is like a borderline treehouse.
And then a prisoner popped out and goes, did somebody say addict?
No, but no, I found an attic and I went up there.
Yeah.
And number one,
some scary stuff up there.
Newly renovated.
Oh, renovated attic.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that these people bought this piece of crap home and redid it for an Airbnb. 100%. And so we figured that out, and you know what? Everything is fine.
Dustin is he is admitting to it. Yeah, he's admitting to it.
I had to call him. So I called it, or I tried to. I
love that you had to clear the house for you should have just called him.
No, I had texted Dustin. He wasn't getting back because he was already asleep because he had to work the next day.
That's fair.
So I texted him. He didn't call back. So I was like, I ain't whatever. And then the next morning, I literally texted him again, like, bro, we're gonna need some info. Like, we need to know this.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, like, what kind of dude goes to a dude party? And I just spit all over you.
That's fine.
What kind of dude?
The first time.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of?
He also gave me COVID. So
that's true. What kind of dude goes to a dude party and like, I'm going to cinch this curtain up?
Probably someone that's like
somebody
for the exact
artsy.
reasons that you cinched it up, saying the streets of Lynchburg doesn't need to see this. He's like, I don't want Grease's stuff getting stolen.
No, I let it out. He brought it back in.
Oh, in my head, cinching it back up was closing it off again.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not like that. It's like one of those things like it can either be covering the full thing or comes in like an hourglass.
Yeah.
And you can,
I understand.
And you could get a couple of side angles on you.
Yeah. I understand that now.
It was a great trip.
Yeah. Sounds great.
I'd do it again. The host was great.
I'll go with y'all next time.
The host was great.
The Airbnb host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
That's great.
She was like,
I saw that in the reviews when I was looking for any information about said incarceration station.
Oh, they said the host is great.
Yeah, a lot of people loved it. Yeah,
yeah, it was great. It is, as long as you, I guess, don't
just don't come in if there's
come in contact
on the
with
doorknobs. One commenter.
Yeah, you just don't want to. You don't want to flirt with the jail too much.
Yeah, or the pit bull outside.
The bummer is that I was sleeping and my head was like literally next to the front windows, and you would not believe how active the Lynchburg police are at night.
It's such an active place.
No,
Like sirens and stuff?
Yes.
Have you
Hauling ass.
Greeze, you grew up in small town Georgia.
Right. And there was only like one cop, and it was like, and your buddies was like, hey man, just so you know, I saw Officer Schmidt on Black Snake Road. Haul it. We'd haul it.
I know, but then the police were also doing that too.
Hauling it? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
You've seen the Dukes of Hazzard. Like, that's literally all that small towns are. People driving fast and cops chasing them.
Well, we avoid that because we have lookouts.
Did they have sirens going?
Yes.
See,
which is stupid.
No, Dustin does not confirm that.
That was the second night. You were not there, Dustin. Michael can probably
only active on Saturday.
But Michael was on the back side of the house. He might
inebriated. All right, folks. It's
maybe angels talk to me in siren.
Time to go to the 15.
Mm-hmm. Hit the music.
Cool. Yeah. Yes, dum dum. Just say whatever you want. I don't even care anymore.
At one point, we were doing Let's Do This. Oh no, that was the tease.
Right.
The end of the tease.
We've never, and we don't do that anymore because we're live. So.
Right.
Yeah. I'm aware. All right. You ready for this? No.
Yeah, baby.
All right. You got to clean.
I do.
This is actually, we're doing this in honor of Melissa. Actually, I thought about that on the way out.
Oakenthieves.com, by the way.
Oakenthieves.com to join the barrel program.
Yeah, and we got a Four Roses coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you better hop in now.
Cheech, thank you so much. But I think you spelled it wrong. You said if you're not subscribed to the podcast, why the heck not do it now? Normally you say hashtag unsubscribe from the podcast. So it's fine. It's fine. It's a joke on
He was probably scared.
No, it's a joke on Whiskey Encore. It's fine.
100%.
Do you watch Whiskey Encore?
I did.
I love it.
I chatted with him last night. Or no, 2 nights ago.
What's funny is you got on early and chatted with them, and then I got on later and chatted with them, and they're like, oh, it must be Will. because they're like, podcast is back.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, everyone. And they're like, oh, clearly not so
right.
I watch Whiskey Encore a lot. It's a lot of fun. Cheech host it. It's always like a bunch of fun people. I want to get on sometime. Most of the time
he's flexible too.
I'm in bed when I start watching it. I get up, I'm in bed and I'm watching. And so then I'm like, oh, I would like to join this link, but I'd have to leave the room.
What's that thing where you always end with
put
in
clothing
bed?
On? It's fortune cookies.
Cheech is a fortune cookie, essentially.
Yeah.
You watch him in bed.
Right. So
do you like to cheech in bed?
So I do want to.
I don't know why Cheech sounds sexual, but it does.
People should watch Whiskey Encore, Cheech. Because it's a lot of fun, and it's always the late night show. It's like it's the Conan O'Brien of Whiskey Tube from like the old days. You know what I mean? Because you'd watch like it was the late show after the Tonight Show.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
All right, and we're back from the 15.
Some say we never left, Will.
So we are drinking tonight. This is Dry Fly Distilling, and not see that's one mistake. Look, we can't do that anymore.
Oh, right.
Yeah, can't do that.
We don't.
Greeze put a new camera up.
I like the camera angle. You know what we could do is I could have it, bam.
We have a second camera.
Like a second camera, bam, and we do that.
Right. So this is, I'm going to keep talking about this.
I want to say something real quick. This is Bourbon Bites on right after you guys. He ended up winning.
Clifton,
yes. Yeah. He ended up winning on Matt Madness.
Right.
And he said it was very similar to the commentary with me when I said Utah. He thought it was Dry Fly, or no, he thought it was Woodinville, but Dry Fly is also Matt Porter was like, you either think it's Dry Fly or Woodinville or whatever. And he's like Woodinville.
Yeah.
But
so
he said Washington State.
Yeah. This is Dry Fly Distilling Specialty Barrel. Distilled in Spokane, Washington, which is where Melissa is from. And actually the first Dry Fly whiskey I had was Whiskey Weekend Batch 1 when Melissa and Nana came to Whiskey Week. Nana. Why did I say Nana?
thinking about
I'm
Dara.
hungry.
You're thinking about Dara.
I'm thinking of non.
Just non.
I'm just hungry. I just want some carbs right now.
Golly.
But Nana and Melissa were there, and she brought samples for everyone of different dry fly expressions because it was from Spokane. And they
she sent me Woodinville, I think.
No, there were 3. But you got a 3-pack of in Woodinville. There may have been one Woodinville in there.
Oh, okay.
But it was Tetracal, which is a different grain.
That is the set finish that I had. I didn't have it there because I had plenty.
Yeah, I brought mine home and drank them at home.
I brought it home, but we ended up at our buddy's AirBNB place on vacation. I ended up having it there, and I texted Melissa, and I was like, "This stuff's freaking great."
So Dry Fly Distilling. This is a single barrel number 445, straight Washington wheat whiskey. So it's a straight wheat, so at least 51% wheat. 7 years age stated.
Yeah.
132.83 proof.
Freaking ball.
And so this is a Tennessee Private Select. I bought another one of these. So I think these came to a distributor and then went to several stores.
Yeah.
I got this one at Red Dog. I also bought one that Cool Springs got the whole barrel. And it says specially selected by Cool Springs Wine and Spirits. This one came out at the very end of last year. It says every once in a while you hook a truly one-of-a-kind fish, the one you talk about for years. This is that fish. Our single barrel whiskeys feature extended aging, unique finishing, and proofs not found in our usual lineup. These specialty releases are handpicked to offer you a genuine and unique whiskey experience. Grab a glass, find some friends, explore a truly one-of-a-kind offering. And I think it was like $50 or $60. Like, it wasn't ridiculously priced for 7-year age stated 132 proof.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really like the cool, it's got cool like pen sketch art of a rick house, and it's got a dry fly. I'm into fly fishing, so
right.
I like that as well. But yeah, so let's try it. It's high proof and it's wheat whiskey, so it's going to be sweeter. Here we go.
Yeah. Nose seems like a flavor bunch.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
But with it being open a while, I'm getting some ethanol in the nose.
Yes, and so when I very first opened it, the alcohol was very noticeable.
Yeah,
I will say it wasn't bad, but Michael had this one in Lynchburg with him, so you may have already had this.
Yeah,
this whole show is full circle.
Yeah, this totally works. Had barrel 445 in Lynchburg with
Jeff asked while we're tasting this, "Hey Will, how do you do in Map Madness?" I came in second. I scored a lot of points. I think I had 15 points. I was very proud of my score.
You had 15 points on the nose round.
No, because I got points in the back round as well in the tasting. I did not win. Dan Shook beat me. The score is almost like he had like a junk time touchdown because he beat me 22-15, but he guessed one in the final round of the bottles and he didn't need it. So the first 2 rounds it was 17-15. So that's the way I'm like telling myself it was okay. It was a little bit closer than the scoreboard would tell you. But he did guess the NASA Family Reserve, which was the ADHD whiskey pick. It was the first thing on there. And so
he got close to a proof around 116, and y'all, both you and Dara, were low.
I crapped the bed on that one.
Yeah, it was
so
I really 90s.
I said 94 because I said
96.
I really thought it was Jack Daniel's rye, single barrel rye.
Dude,
it also did not drink one. It was like 116.
Right.
And I thought it was that. It did not drink harsh or high proof. Normally I'm pretty good with proof. If anything, I overguess.
That's what I told you.
Yeah.
I said you went the opposite of what you normally do.
Yeah.
Like you're normally
and I started out after round 1, I was very much in the lead, and then Dan chiseled away at that. The 2 things that killed me were the proof guess, because I got 0 points and he got like the full points for that. And then it sealed the deal was him guessing the bottle. But like I said, he won it after round 2. it didn't matter.
Right.
So that's me also conceding, like, he outright won it. It wasn't like, oh, he guessed what he happened
And dude,
to know,
if you're gonna win, like, and you guess the bottle, I mean, it's hard. That's hard to beat somebody that guesses a bottle.
Yeah. And so
in one round, I think I guessed 2 bottles.
And that's why I almost wish the bottle guess. I mean, like, it can bring someone back from the grave.
Yeah.
Because it's like a full 5 points. And that's a really big feat to pull that off. But I almost wish it was only done if it were necessary, if there were a tie. I wish you ran through the bottles and did that. But I mean, it's his game. I will say this about Matt Porter. His structure, and
I can't see your mouth. So there you go.
I don't care.
Wow.
His structure this year, the improvements he made, the feedback that he got, and
Shayla doing the point calculations.
It was so like, he did a great job
Smooth.
last year of corralling a bunch of craziness and chaos. He still had that flavor to it, the chaotic nature of a really tough competition with 30-second timers, which could be anything in the world, and
freaking shelf turds,
and taking that to the next level by taking good feedback, thinking through it. He always comes across as he is his character, this aloof, funny guy. But the thought he puts into the structure and organizing of this competition just shows what a next level guy he is. And that really impressed me.
Yeah.
And just like, I had a great time. I had a lot of fun doing it. I had more fun this year than I did last year. I was less stressed. I didn't expect to go on any further.
It's just,
one thing I did was, because Dara, I think she had 1 or 5 points, depending on if they gave her. She had a mistake where
I would have totally given it to her.
Well, if you'll go back and listen,
You
I
said
tried
that
to argue for it. Like, can she just answer it? I said in the thing, I go, she's going to get an answer, because I knew she was going to, by the thing that she sent the state.
Right.
And
like,
then,
what other distillery is in Indiana?
And
Can we just go?
Shayla said, I know what she means. That's why I'm like, can we just let her answer it? Because it like, it's nerve-wracking. You're on a channel, and all of a sudden it's like, we have 85 people watching. There were 10 times more people watching.
Oh yeah. And
when you see that bug and there's 850 or 900 people watching, that's really stressful. You got 30 seconds. You're freaking out.
I embrace it.
And this was her first time doing it. I understand that. And I thought, but all that being said, if she had, we'll say she had the 5 points, that's still a pretty good score. Like, I think my first round was Sean and me last year. He scored like 2 and I scored 4 and moved on. Like, it was, so I sent her a message after, that, hey, you did a really good job. I know we gave you a hard time about that, but you did really good, and I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
And don't be embarrassed that, like you said, Indiana,
especially if she gets the points for that question.
Right.
It was still so that's what I was going to say. This competition, my favorite thing about the competition is how impressive it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got these people that are literally tasting something from God knows what.
Right.
And they're honing down there, and a lot of points are scored. They know, like, the lead grains. They know the proofs.
Well, and you know what's
they
even
know
harder?
the ages.
You know what's even harder?
There was a freaking nail of the exact bottle by Dan, which was stupid crazy.
The fact that also, like, one of our bottles was an Eagle Rare pick, and that Eagle Rare pick was way off profile.
Yeah.
Way off profile. Like,
because you'd be all
always.
over that.
I'm also always the guy that defaults to guessing Buffalo Trace. I always do, because it's what I drink the most, and so I can be like, yeah, it could be.
Was it like super cherry?
No, it was super fruity. Okay. Not cherry fruit, like other fruit,
like a brighter fruit.
Yeah, like apples and stuff. It did not
citrus.
It did not taste like Eagle Rare.
Yeah,
and that was one, and so that's where it gets even harder. It's not just like, we had NASA Family Reserve, the standard. We had Eagle Rare, a standard one, and then and There was a Will It Ride.
Okay, so it wasn't a single. The Eagle Rare wasn't a single.
No, it was. No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying it's not as if.
Oh, got it.
It's even one layer harder, where it's like that was a blend that Matt Porter did.
Yes.
So it's not the standardized one.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it was a Eagle Rare pick.
Now there's context clues. It's like, did
not for the Eagle Rare store pick.
100%. But did Dan know that bottle existed in Matt's repertoire or whatever?
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. There was also Perry guessed, I believe it was a Nulu pick. It was very specific. He thought he had it.
Yeah.
And it would have been a mic drop moment if it was, but you just have some context clues of what Matt has, especially with his picks. You know what I mean?
I see, except for only if you're guessing his personal picks.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, but I mean, there's a layer to that.
But that's also a mind game too.
Like it was one of those.
Because I would be like, if it were me, I'm like, I would not put those in. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you're like, is he the type of person that's
He's
putting
running out of
his own
whiskey?
thing? I don't know. You could do the same. You could do the same stuff a million times over.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to taste it differently every time because it is completely blind.
So last year, one of the bottles that I guessed exactly right was Obtainium.
Yeah.
It was obviously a light whiskey. It was obviously high proof.
And he had been talking about it a lot.
I either knew it was an Old Carter or it was Obtainium. I defaulted to Obtainium because it was more economical to send out to a bunch of randos.
Right. No,
and
that's
so,
fair.
And so it, there is a little bit of context that you can walk away from. But it's overall, it's insanely impressive. And the people that are watching, a tournament like this, like if you don't appreciate it, then that really sucks because there's a lot of time and knowledge and, it's crazy what you and Dan, like you had so many points.
Yeah.
If your points were in round one of last year, you literally throttle people.
Right.
Like it was that impressive. And y'all were all over it. Same thing with Dara and obviously, and Dan took the night, which he just showed up in a new way. He did text me later that night. He was like, dude, I've been drinking and practicing all week.
Huh.
He was in it to win it.
See,
and it showed.
I did it. I did that last year, and I took a different tactic this year where I did not try to build my self-confidence by doing that. But here's what I did right before the show.
Yep.
I drank a 90 proof whiskey and I drank a 100 proof whiskey.
Yep.
From two different distilleries.
Yep.
Because it gave me a baseline. I'm like, okay, that's what 90 proof is tasting like right now for me right now. And then I went up to 100 and said, that is what 100 proof is tasting like right now for me. That's my baseline to guess the proof game. And the funniest part of that to me is that I guessed 94 proof for something that was like 114.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that it acclimated me well. So congrats to Dan, condolences to Dara as well as myself. I had a lot of fun. I can't wait till next year. I definitely had more fun this year. My favorite part of the whole thing was how prepared David from whiskeychannel.com, FKA, the Shelf Turds. His songs this year slayed me. They distracted me, not in like this is obnoxious in my head, because I was laughing so hard.
He threw a lot of Greeze at you.
He also had drops in it. Like one of the songs that was the one of Will.
Yeah.
Because he had a song for each person that was the 30-second timer.
Whiskey the Pooh.
But it had a drop from it that rhymed with the line that was we bought it, we're going to use it. This is a new segment called Will It Pump?
Oh yeah.
And it's like that video came out the day before.
Yes.
So he was,
that was pretty insane.
It was impressive how much went into it. And then also Porter always has the funny clips that he'll play. And he did a poor guesses, like super cut. And I was being snarky.
Why do you get to do it? And
because I'm telling a story in which that happens. You just said it randomly.
Fair.
Which actually, back to the person who I said we should ban that earlier said that Greeze wasn't original. You may be right. So he plays that video, and I was trying to be snarky and and I go, "What's that from?" that's pretty funny. And Dan,
that was great.
Dan's like, it's fine. Will doesn't watch anything. And then Matt Porter goes, speaking of Will not watching anything, and plays a clip.
Yeah, it was almost like it was scripted.
It felt like it was. Even in the moment, I'm like, how did this just play out like this?
I thought it was scripted. I was like, what is happening?
And so Dan goes, Will doesn't watch anything. And Porter's like, speaking of not watching anything, Will, have you ever seen this? And plays a clip of you and James when you did your No Rules Live that I refused to watch. And James, I heard about this, never watched it. James, holding his phone, goes, and you're like, where are you going? You get another dip. And he goes, nah, I've been holding it long enough. I gotta go to the bathroom. And he's peeing. You hear it, and you kick him out. And then James is really proud because I gave him a badge of honor. I said, he's the real deal, folks.
Yeah, and he doesn't know that's a condescending thing from you.
It is, but you know what? I love him. I do love James.
I do love James.
Oakenthieves.com. Check it.
Yeah, James is a part of that.
All right.
Yeah, let's start.
I was going to say, buy bar pass on the Dry Fly Distilling Specialty Barrel.
And then I want to tell you what I do to train. For whiskey.
I'd like to hear it.
Madness. Yeah. We got a super chat.
Yeah, this is from Thrasher.
He's coming to Whiskey Weekend.
Yeah, it says, Will into fly fishing. I knew I liked you better than the Greeze. Should I bring my gear to Whiskey Weekend batch 4? I don't think you want to fish in that dirty river, the Ohio River. But it is right outside, so we could try it.
You could literally. Yeah, I don't think any flies would be seen in that river. I've never seen it remotely clean.
Yeah, there's like 4-headed fish in the Ohio River.
Yes, yeah, it doesn't look great.
But I did go yesterday and got a little rainbow.
You did get a little rainbow.
Yeah.
At first I saw it in that net and it looked like a head of a snake.
Dude, they creepily look like snakes when they swim out.
Yes.
Because they see how they
I understand.
Anyhow, got him yesterday, and that was fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about this whiskey. Then I want to talk about how I trained for Matt Madness, and I'm only going to get to do it once because I'm all the way in the finals because I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it was probably because I was pretty hammered. I enjoyed this way more if I had it because I did not have a bad whiskey in Lynchburg.
Yeah,
at the house.
Right.
So if I did have this, I enjoyed it there. It's pretty astringent still, even with a lot of air in it. Like it's like that this is 125 and up.
It packs a punch.
Yeah. Now, the bummer is that it hides the flavor. You kind of get. I took a big swig of it, and just so that
that's probably a mistake.
No. I after I'd been sipping on it, I was like, let me just see how like a bigger sip develops in the mouth or whatever. And I actually did get some more flavor notes, but the heat is just so much there. It's just, it's tough.
See, I really have grown to like this. The first couple sips, because it was like a jaw punch. It left you hurting a little bit, but I've grown to really, obviously, because you can see how much I've drank of it.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that I sometimes will be like, you know what I'm going to get a pour of? After I've had after I've had a bunch of whiskey, I'll be like, no, I'm going to get a pour of. I'm going to get that dry fly. And I sit down with like a ounce and a half, 2 ounces. And that just like you wake up the next morning, like craving a Hardee's.
Dude. So a cousin through marriage, and I don't know what that ends up being, but my wife's cousin's husband.
Yeah.
We were smoking cigars. We were having whiskey. We were all having a good time. And I wanted him to try that red wine finished obtaining. I was like, you probably should try this.
Sure.
He hasn't drank since because he was already pretty good. And then he had an ounce of 140 proof light whiskey.
Right.
He didn't make it to work the next day.
Jeez.
He was donezo. And like he has not drank an ounce of whiskey since. And that was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty bad, but yeah,
so with this though,
ending the night on a high proof, not the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as like the beer before liquor, never been sicker, liquor before beer, you're in the clear. Like we, in our mind from tasting, we go up in proof.
Yeah.
But this is a tasting situation. If you're pouring a drink, after you've already got a good primer
Yeah,
coat
tasting
on.
and drinking is not the same
Yeah,
thing.
you don't want to just jump to this if you got a primer coat, because then it's gonna wreck you. But I will say I've really grown to enjoy this. It has Melissa said their other stuff tastes young and sharp because it's 7 years. It's wheat whiskey, so it's got a different profile than you're used to. There's a little bit of graininess that I like at it. It is a little raw because it's 132 proof. And so to me, it almost reminds me of the feelings I get about like that Old Soul store pick, where I'm like super into that. It's a little raw. It's a little cowboy. And it's got a sweetness to it, but a graininess. It's like, to me, this is the opposite of like Texas bourbon. It's sweet but aggressive. You know, like the Texas bourbon is like grainy and harsh and everything. This is, I don't know. So at $50 to $60, I am a buy because it is completely different than anything you're going to get. It's age stated 7 years. It's extremely high proof. And it's unique. If you only can have one bourbon or one whiskey, this is not the one to buy, because I think it is that. But I still lean by because I think it is unique enough that if you're a seasoned whiskey drinker, you're gonna want to try it.
Something that I really like about this, and Dixon Deadman has told this to us before, it's like on wheated whiskeys, you're not necessarily tasting the wheat, you're tasting the absence of rye.
Yes. The sweetness is that when there's the corn, it's the sweetness of the corn that's shining through, because the spiciness of the rye is taken away.
Right. Exactly right. On this particular pour, because you said it's grainy, like I kind of feel like I'm tasting wheat.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's weird. I would say that this is unique in that way, that, you know, it is a wheated whiskey and you are kind of tasting a grain, and you would assume that that grain is wheat. And so you're kind of coming away from that being like, oh, I'm tasting wheat. With all that said, this is a bar for me. Yeah. It's just a little harsh. And I would think for a wheated whiskey in 7 years, I feel like that would just kind of back down a little bit. I honestly think it might be the proof. I guarantee you, if with a little bit of water on this, it's probably going to shine through.
I also want to try the other one I got. I haven't opened it yet.
A little side by side.
And I am curious how different they are, if they taste the same. You know, like what's the difference with we don't know a ton about the climate for aging of Spokane.
Yeah, we should do that.
I mean, we know what the climate is of Spokane, but not the climate for aging. So
borderline garbage up there.
I am. Cheers, Melissa. Hope we get one soon. I think if you pour this on a fracture, it will heal it.
100%.
Yeah. Either that or it'll eat away at your
It's
bone.
basically like the Ark of the Covenant in Indiana Jones.
Right. No, that's
100%.
the opposite. That's not healing you. That's melting your face off.
No. Like when from the cup.
Yes. That is
the cup of
that's
life.
The Last Crusade. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a different movie. Ark of the Covenant is when they all melt. All the Nazis' faces melt off.
Okay, that's fair. But what did they have? No, they had the Ark there at the Last Crusade.
Did they?
Yeah, it was there.
It was like homage to it because it was in storage. No, because they go get the chalice. And that's because it's like you have to pick which cup. It's like, this is a cup fit for a king.
There was an earthquake that happened. It was bad. I don't know.
Greeze has not seen most movies.
Well, and their faces didn't melt off, but they all turned to skeletons and to dust into the ground.
Chris R says
we got an after party tonight too.
Let's do that. Let's wrap up here. Hey guys, going to Nashville from Ohio on my way back to Florida, going to NBC, but any other spots to try? As far as distilleries, go to Leaper's Fork. I love the stuff
Leaper's
that Leaper's Fork is putting out, but I mean, if you got a minute, go to Fairview, go to Red Dog, go to Elixir, go to the hot spots of liquor stores and get some good
Barrels
picks.
and Brews is right next to Red Dog.
Yeah.
They've got some great picks. The other thing I would say, since you're going to be downtown Nashville, I would also go over to Greenbrier because they do have some exclusive
it's beautiful too.
It's beautiful. It's really cool, but they've got some exclusive like gift shop releases, typically like a brandy finished Bell Mead or something like that. But
and there's also the new Nelson's Reserve bourbon.
Yes,
I haven't tried it yet, but we need to grab one. And so they'll have that there.
Yeah, we'll see.
What do you mean we'll see?
I didn't love their first Greenbrier release.
I know.
Their own distillate.
That's the reason we need to try
the new
I
one.
love this said we should try it and you go
I'm just saying they have something to prove at this point is what I'm saying.
I agree. That's why you need to try it.
That's why we need to
It's
get it.
almost like we do a podcast and YouTube show about bourbon. All right, folks. Thanks so much. Greeze is a buy on this.
Nope.
Sorry, I'm a buy on this. Greeze is a pass.
No, you don't.
Let's
listen
start
to me.
over.
You
Let's
don't
start over.
listen to me.
Tired.
You gonna edit it?
Tired today? Lord, no.
Okay.
All right, folks. Greeze is a bar on this. I am a buy on this. This is the Dry Fly Distilling Specialty Barrel 7-year Washington wheat whiskey.
They've got a wet fly one coming out that I'm actually pretty interested in trying.
Wet fly is a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different.
I would
type of
assume
fly.
if a dry fly is a thing, then a wet fly is the same. This is a thing.
Yeah, there's streamers, there's wet flies, there's poppers, there's dry flies,
Dry bones and wet
you
bones.
get some hoppers. All right, folks, if you want to support us, patreon.com/thepodcast. If you want to join our barrel club, oakandthieves.com. And if you want to
Support Melissa,
do something for free, you can subscribe to this channel and you can give a thumbs up. That's an easy way to do it. But also, if you want to support Melissa, go buy something. Go buy a t-shirt. Go buy a Glencairn. Go buy a hat at thepodcast.com/store. She has a hand injury. Put her to work. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Thepodcast.com/store. We don't know Jack.
But we'll drink.